Hello, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is the third in a series of games using the system called, I'm calling Swoop Gangs. It was a reskin of One Percenter, the outlaw biker gaming from Creepy Doll Studios. One Percenter is kind of Sons of Anarchy, Mayans MC, the RPG. If you don't know those shows, don't worry about it. It's basically a motorcycle club who also do, illegal stuff, but have a strong sense of community with each other. And they're often fighting a corrupt authority. I thought, hey, why not port that into Star Wars, which I have. This is part of Star Wars Saturdays, which I'm running on a Sunday because it's a weekend still. It starts with an S, so I can call it SWS. It's like Kentucky Fried Chicken, where we just call it KFC, and we ignore that it's fried chicken anymore because we're healthy or something. This is the third session, and we are down a couple of players, but they will be growing back to full strength in the last 2 weeks of this series. So this will be an interesting experiment. One Percenters is one of the games I feel more comfortable running larger groups, but I think that it works really, really well in smaller groups. We are doing a rules misread / tweak for this series to see how it feels. We had one full session last week where we got to see that. And the rules tweak is that we roll for our karks, which is kind of like your hit points, but it's also like your helping dice, all rolled together. You roll for karks every session. And I'm interested in continuing to observe how that affects the fiction and the choices mechanically that we make. I have opinions, but I still want to stick it for at least one more session before we do anything. I don't want to over course correct or call something absolutely done until we have marinated on it just a little bit more. So we do have, even though this is a game that I would consider like a PG-13. Oh gosh, what would that rating be in Europe? I never can get my mind around the Peggy 13. Like that's video game. I don't know. Peggy 13, 12? I guess.
12?
Sure, 12. Yeah, like there'll be curse words. There's violence, but we do have safety tools. So we have lines on some items, veils on others, and ask first, which is, it means it's situational. So check in with the players before you introduce it. Those are all marked on our character keeper. On top of that, we have the X card, which is a big blunt instrument, which I like blunt instruments. So that's important to have. Open door is also part of it. Because players can't make it, they don't have to. Don't feel like this is an obligation. We're here to have fun. So with all that out of the way, let's do a quick round to remind ourselves of our characters before we jump into a ride. Let's start from the right-hand side of the character keeper, heading towards the left. So Steven, if you could introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your character.
Hi, my name is Steven. My pronouns are he, him. Today I'm playing Dwang, whose pronouns are also he, him. Dwang is a Doug, which is like Sebulba from episode 1, the pod racer with who stands on his hands and has his feet up and everything. And he's just a thug. He's just an angry, let's beat him up kind of guy. But deep down, he has a soft spot for his gang members and, the orphanage that's just around the corner.
Fantastic. Thank you, Steven. Next up is Paul. Well, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hello, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing is Clutch, also he, him. Clutch is a Duros. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the role Clutch performs in the Swoop Gang is that of road captain. He tends to spend a lot of his time out away from the rest of the club, leading small teams to further the club's endeavors out and around the underworld, the lower tier, and possibly higher. That's Clutch.
Thank you, Paul. Anish, you are up next, sir. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yes, hello. I'm Anders, he, him. I'm playing Crusher, she, her, who is the token human this time around. She is the treasurer of the club, and she has a cool bike, and she's good at talking, including talking people into doing things that maybe they shouldn't be doing. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Last ride, you guys dealt with the aftermath of having stolen some ginger spice and had a bit of fun, then tussled with your rivals, those despicable hidden becks. They're so karking superior. Came back and had a chat with your VP of the club. He was definitely in over his head. That would be Cap Dindo, the VP, nephew of the president, Murgo Dindo. Chatted with the lot of you and said, you know what, we need to break my uncle, aka the president, out of that Imperial holding facility. And he told you guys you need to make it happen. So because we have a couple of players out, I think maybe Wild Thing and Twang are out on a ride with a few of our like NPC Zidhound members. They're doing some, taking a haul out, or maybe they're pulling something in. They're effectively just off screen. They're the actors who were not paid for the full season of episodes. So we write them out for one episode, and now we get to have a more intimate look. Now, one of the wishes, sorry, I'm about to cough, so I'm going to mute for a second. One of the wishes we had on the table from last week that I wanted to just remind us of is that we were interested in figuring out a little bit more about the community that surrounds the Zidhounds and your salvage yard. We only know that there's the salvage yard, there's a bar, and an orphanage. So a little bit of world building is one of the things we put on the table that we were interested in. So I want to remind you all of that, as well as also just reminding you that there is an Imperial Detention Center tab with cool map from Mishka's maps, which it amazingly adheres to what we may know of Imperial centers from a particular movie. Not perfectly. The trash chutes in a slightly different place for those who are really fussy about it, and the guard stations oriented just a little differently, but I accept it as canon. So that's a place that you guys, where you would know that the prez of your club would be held. And I'm imagining that there are just multiple detention centers across Terrace. So you're like, oh, they only have what, like 10 prisoners? No, they just have hundreds of detention centers, right? So with all of that out there, reminder, you guys are on the planet of Terrace, and that it's a multi-level society as well as a city. It is one of the Epinopolis. I'll never use that word. That's one of the two words that I'll never get right in Star Wars. There's an upper, middle, and lower city, but you guys are way down in the undercity where things are a little grimy. So I'd like to kick off with just a few scenes of what it is that you guys do when you're between rides, when you're not out kicking shebs, taking on stormtroopers, racing away from the hidden becks, dealing with the black Vulkers. And then I've got a scene I'll drop in as things are going on, but I want to spend a few moments getting to know you. So Crusher, you're charismatic human woman. You don't have to hang out down here in the undercity. Is this where you spend your time because you're near the gang, or what do you do in your free time?
Yeah, I think actually Crusher probably doesn't have that much free time. Being a treasurer is a heavy gig. I think there's a fair number of like mechanics and people who reuse the scrap from our scrapyard that we have business deals with, and she spends a lot of her time keeping that flowing, the money flowing to us and the junk flowing to them, basically. so that keeps her busy for a lot of the time. And when she kicks back, I think she likes to hang at the bar. It's it's got a relaxed atmosphere, and occasionally she will grab some of her friends who aren't in the club, and they'll go up a few levels to hit some hotspot and dance the night away, and maybe find someone who where she can stay over.
Oh, nice. Now, you said that you have some friends that you'll kind of break away from the gang and go out to party with. Are these people you grew up with, or people that you met in early adulthood? What do you think?
I think it's both, but it's local people. It's people from the area who she knows really well, and who are like, I don't want to say like loyal, but they're in the orbit of the club mostly.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, it's the daughter of one of the mechanics, or it's that kind of people mostly. But there's probably a few people who have moved here more recently, who she hasn't who she doesn't know that well, but who's like a friend of a friend sort of person. So it's
Is
not
this
like,
kind of a second life for Crusher? Like, do they know you're Crusher? Do they call you Nira Karg, or?
I think she probably, I think it varies. It's not like she's not hiding that she's in the club, because that's, I think everyone knows in the area. But she's not the biker when she's with them. She's not on, like that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
She doesn't wear her patch when she goes out clubbing.
Sure, you don't wear your cut, then yeah, you just
Yeah.
dress like a reg, like a
Yeah.
citizen or something. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. Maybe we even see you hang out at 3 Down, which was the Sabbath club that you guys set up, the Hidden Bexid. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, sure.
Some other places to dance. But would you go all the way up to Upper City to go to the dueling ring, or do you mostly just stay in Mid City where it's a little more low key?
Mid city, probably. Maybe if it's like a bachelorette party or something like that, then we might splurge and go up on in the higher levels and make some noise and annoy some people just for the hell of it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I think the big thing going on between your citizen friends right now is all of the excitement that Anisi Balkar is getting married. And so they're talking about, do they want to go up to the dueling ring for the bachelorette party? And of course you're going to come along, and you're so good at organizing things, so they're probably chatting with you like, should we go up top? It's going to be really expensive, but then it's so fun.
Yeah, and I mean, Crusher probably isn't above diverting some cash from the club, like saying, yeah, this is for a community project, and spending that on a big party. Not like huge sums or anything, but it's like, yeah, this is building community spirit.
You grab the petty cash. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I mean, especially when the president isn't here, it's like, I'm in charge of the money, so what I say goes.
Nice. That's I'm sure that's something the president approves of, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, if he bothered to read the books, then everything would probably look on the up and up, as long as he didn't dig too deeply to exactly what creds went where.
Nice. I like that. That's cool. That gives me a real good image of Crusher off the books. Cool. What about Dwang? I know we saw a scene with Dwang in and around the orphanage, but like, what else does Dwang do? Surely that's not the only thing he's about.
So The president of the Zedhounds figured out pretty early on not to let gangers like Dwayne just kind of loose. Like at first it was like, let's go to the bar, he'll gamble a little bit, then he got pissed off, then he got a big fight and they tore up the bar. That's a problem, right? And so you want to have some way to make sure that he can get his aggression out. So it's, at the bar he drinks, but he can't gamble. And then they set up like an exercise area out in the yard, right? And it's got like, weights and that kind of stuff. And Dwayne's out there like pumping iron. He's like, oh yeah. And he's with the other, probably more junior members of the gang, like egging him on, saying, oh yeah, you can do more. Let's pile the weight on and let's do this. And then laughing a little bit whenever they get stuck and then, helping them out. It's one of those, very buddy testosterone kind of things. Let's do it. So they can, he goes out drinking and he'll relax there in the bar, and then he relaxes working out. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna kick those hidden backs and it'll be great. And so I think that's kind of what he does. From time to time, I think there's upkeep that needs to happen in the neighborhood because it's torn up. And whenever it's brute work, like, okay, we need someone to hold this duracrete piece up while it's welded in place and that kind of stuff. He sends Dwang and maybe a couple of others to lift it up and to do the hard manual labor. And I think that in the last session we had was it the Hidden Becks who came after us? I think it was.
Yeah.
And they shot up the place, right? So they shot up our place. So I think we're doing repairs, and they probably shot up some of the rest of the neighborhood.
Of course.
So it needs to get fixed too.
Who has the best aim? I mean, when you're shooting in a neighborhood, you didn't like the neighborhood anyway.
Well, and we did our fair share of like making sure that their bikes wrecked and blew up and ran into things, and yeah.
Cool. I think you've made space for us to, number one, let's roll for your karks and see how many you got, unless you've already done that.
No.
I will share the
It's
roller.
1d6.
It is a d6 plus 3.
A d6. I got 1, so I've got 4.
Okay, but
I'm gonna get my physical dice because the dice roller really hates me. I keep getting disconnected.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. But what you framed for us is an excellent refresh style scene. As I'm hopping over to, there it is. Oh, this is the first time we talk about it. Huh. All right.
I rolled a 2, so that's 5, right?
Excellent. Yes, it is.
And I rolled a 3.
Oh, good. Perfect. So that's 6 for you. So what you've framed up for us, Dwayne, is a type of refresh scene where you are helping out the community, right? You're. Oh man, where did I put that thing? Sorry, I'm in the actual rules doc, and it's not in one of the side things. So
it's at the very bottom.
Is it? Of course it is. It's near
charity work.
Duracrete, justice, and charity work. There we go. Thank you very much. Cool. So, doing some charitable work.
And this karks is you roll a d6 plus 3. It doesn't add to what you had before. It's just that's flat.
We're trying one person's interpretation of you roll for karks every time. So you blank everything out, and that's where you're at the beginning of this session.
I just wanted to make sure I did.
No, it's a great question. Yeah, you don't add on to it. You just that's your karks right this minute, with the assumption that some time has passed between stuff. So to succeed at charitable activities requires successfully doing an unopposed roll using cool plus heart. So you're being cool and using your heart to perform this action. So go ahead, and there's no target number. You just roll, and the number of successes is the number of oh, that's interesting. Success gains the Swoop Biker at 1d of karks. So there you go.
Okay, so let me roll. So I think so. That's 2 successes. So I get 2.
What? No,
karks.
I'm sorry. It actually, if you get a success, then you roll a single d6, and that's the number of karks you get back.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Or earn. It's not get back, right? So
That's 6.
wow, you are a hero. What is the thing that you've definitely helped to reestablish, like a building, like some kind of thing that as we ride by it, we can remember this was a thing that Dwang and led a lot of the Zidhounds in rebuilding.
Right. So whenever we get done with this, I'd like to see if anyone else has any interest in helping out with this as well. But I think Dwayne goes out, and just like I said, like his gang, his group of like guys who work out in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
These are all kind of strong guys. I think there's probably like a young Wookiee, and there's like, you know, an older Gamorrean guy, and they're kind of wandering around, and it's like, okay, we're gonna look this thing up, and we repair part of the building that had been attached to, like, probably it's sort of the equivalent of a soup kitchen. It's really a restaurant, but they probably get subsidized by us or by someone else within the community, and people can go by and get food. If they're short on coin, it's probably okay. And I think that we basically helped build up this area. It had gotten damaged, but it was not in great shape anyway. But now it's got like a great paint job. It's gotten, better supported, so it'll take a couple more hits, better than it was before. And I think that at some point we pull out the paint job. We go over to the orphanage, and I'm like talking to, what's her name? The lady in charge.
Oh, I've got her.
Yeah,
She is
Khalil.
Yeah.
So I go talk to Khalil, and I'm like, hey, do you think it'd be a good weekend outing to go and, have the kids help out? And it's not required or anything. And I think we get a few volunteers, and they paint this restaurant place. So it's like, at the bottom, it's like scribbles and wall painting kind of stuff. But the older kids who are taller paint it up real nice, and it looks really good. It almost looks like it's sort of like the community mural. And they're like, oh yeah, that's the stuff that the Zidhounds did.
Sweet. What do we want to name this restaurant / soup kitchen? The first thing that came to my mind is to call it Sunny's, even though you're in the Undercity, which actually doesn't get any sun.
I like that. That sounds great.
All right, cool. So we will add that in. I don't have a pick for that kind of thing, but we'll add it in.
I think at some point it was probably originally named like after the original owner, like Lev and Sons. And then Lev passed it on to Sonny, and then it became Sonny, Sonny. And Dwayne doesn't get that the irony about it being so dark down here and sunny. He just thinks it's like Sons, like, the child of someone. He's like, no.
Nice.
And everybody else like kind of laughs about, oh, isn't it funny that Sonny's his name Son because it's down here? And I'm like, no. I think even some of the kids get that, and Dwayne's like, that's funny. Haha. The name got shortened.
Poor guy. That's awesome. I really like the idea of Sunny's now. Now people can have a place to eat. I really like the idea of it being technically a restaurant, but also if you're short on creds, you can go there and they'll.
And like only the locals know that, right? The people coming in, they think it's a restaurant. They're like, the food's not that good. It's just kind of here, but it's better than nothing. But the locals all know, oh, if you're short on some credit, you can always go to Sunny's and get a hot meal. Yeah.
Nice. What about our road captain now? I remember Clutch being a bit of a loner, like the person who goes out on long rides, doesn't spend a whole lot of time around the gang. Is that still true?
Yeah, because I really think Clutch, the Duros are a space-going nation. I really think Clutch's long-term aim is to actually leave this planet on a spaceship.
Ooh.
And I think he has got he's really got the chassis of a Fire Spray 31 class ship, really battered up. This thing's never going to fly in a month of Sundays. It's in a horrendous condition. It's down here on the lower levels. But I think Clutch sort of spends his time away from the gang because I don't want to say hustling people, but he's going around probably the next level up, rounding up, miscreants, handing him in. Basically, he's a sort of a planetary bounty hunter on the side. So yeah, he's sort of clearing up the neighborhood, but he's only doing it for creds. That's what he's all about: clearing up the neighborhood, locking some nastier people away. As long as they're not in the MC, that's perfectly fine. And that all that he's gaining through that is going into getting this Fire Spray 31 to some kind of working condition. That's his massive long-term project, and I think that's probably why he's close to really our mechanic. I think being close to Wild Thing. Although Clutch pretty good with the electronic systems for any kind of work with engine work, that's where he's looking at Wild Thing to assist him. But yeah, he spends a lot of time out and about rounding up hoodlums, basically, for bounty.
I like it. That is cool. So because you're doing it for money, right? It's not exactly duracrete justice, but it sounds like we've got an opening. People know that Clutch will hunt down a thug or two. So if somebody were to give you a pity case and you took it, then you could use that to get yourself some karking.
Oh yeah, if it's directly linked to the underworld around our neighborhood, then that becomes sort of pro bono work. Same as if it's anything linked to the MC. I'm not going to take the creds from the MCs or our local area.
Who would take money from the MC? Like, who would do that? Nobody. The treasurer, Crusher, she's on it. She would be on you in a hot minute. That's good. I like that a lot. Yeah, so we'll say maybe Clutch, you've just finished up for the day doing a little bit of work on the Fire Spray 31. Maybe you found a little bit of a data spool on how to do some of the cabling. And so you've just finished up maybe a third of the rewiring for the actual part of the cockpit that controls, handles manual control, that kind of stuff. So you're feeling pretty good, made some good progress. You still, you're going to have to hunt through the salvage yard to find several more meters worth of cabling to work out the next two steps in that. When I think we'll say that, it'll be another Duros, like a Duros kid. We're going to say that the kid's name's Hula. Hula comes up to you, and when they you're walking down, it's undercity. I'm imagining that it's a lot of shacks and there's just rust everywhere and broken duracrete and stuff's kind of propped up. And Hula was kind of leaning against one of the walls as if maybe he was waiting for you to come by. He knows that you go into this warehouse. He knows that this is if you want to talk to Clutch, this is the area where he hangs out. And Hula's been just waiting for a little bit. And when he sees you, he takes off, he starts walking behind you. But it's pretty obvious. He's trailing you. And you get the feeling he's trying to work up the gumption to actually talk to you. What do you do about that?
Yeah, I think I've got sort of blast helmet, in my hand because I've, as you say, been doing some electrical work, and probably I've got some junk, so sort of a grab sled. And I'll turn to Hulu and said, do you want to ride, Hula? Jump on the sled and I'll drag you.
His eyes just brighten. He's shocked. Like, first of all, that you talk to him. Second of all, that you invite him, and yeah, there's no hesitation. He just runs, and he'll jump on top of that. He'll jump on top of the sled and kind of hold on. Maybe he takes a lash and like wraps it around his wrist because he's afraid he'll like fall off and die or something. So what do you do? What does this look like with you're dragging this kid along in the sled?
I think I'll pick up the speed a bit, and I'll start saying to him, in no period of time, with those kind of skills, we'll have you on a swoop bike, and you'll be looking at joining the gang. Is that where you want to go, Hula? Would you like to be in the MC?
Mr. Clutch, yes, I want to be a Zid Hound.
Cool. Us Duros have got to stick together. So, I'll definitely put your name forwards when you're old enough. That's for sure.
And he hesitates for a moment and kind of looks around, but there's no one there. It's just the two of you guys wherever you pull off alley or something down the street, and he says,
it's just me and you, lad. What's troubling you? Somebody bullying you?
It's not well, sometimes my mom,
you got to let us know who he is.
Well, I don't want my mom to get in any more trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. We're the Zid Hounds. If you can't get help from the Zid Hounds, who can you get help from? Big, small. Look at Wild Thing. He needed some help back in the day, and now he's in the gang. So it doesn't matter who you are, how big you are. The Zid Hounds are there for you.
Nice.
Let us know what your problem is, lad.
Cool. So I think you're trying to coax some courage from him. So I'd like to put this to a roll. It sounds like you're reaching out, you're being cool, and I don't know, it sounds like you're trying to be compassionate here. So it feels like to me it's a little more heart than it is jaw. Is that what you think?
I definitely think it's going down the heart direction here.
Awesome. And we're going to call this a simple roll. Like this is what he wants, but he's at the doorstep of it. Does he have?
Yeah, let's see if we can get it out of him. So, be cool is 3, heart is 2. I put that up at the start of the session. Okay. So we got 5d6 there.
5d6. All you need is 1 ace, and you'll be okay.
Okay. I think the odds are in my favor. Let's see what we get. Oh yeah, get in there. We got a 6.
Oh wow! Well, 3 successes total. And one of them a 6. That's fantastic. Hula,
you can tell me, son.
Hula says, Trinnick. Trinnick's been hurting my mom, and I want you to take him out. He's not entirely sure what he means by that.
Tell us a little bit more about this Trinnick.
He says, well, Trinnick has been coming around a lot, and then he's been real mean to my mom, and hurting her. And I tried to stop him. I wanted to be like a Zid Hound, but he's a lot bigger than me.
Oh, you will be soon. You will be soon. Yeah, I totally understand. A shorty like yourself, but give it some time. You will be able to. But in the meantime, you were right coming to the Zid Hounds. We don't stand for this kind of stuff, especially against a Duros. Tell you what, yeah, you go back to your mum. Tell us all's fine. You know, I'll round up a couple of the boys and we'll play this Trinic a visit. And you ain't ever going to see him again. That's for sure. Don't worry about that, Hula.
He reaches up and grabs your hand, your left hand with both of his, and just kind of holds it for a second. Okay. And then he dashes off.
Duros.
He's like raises his arm as he's right away, his little tiny fist in the air. Duros!
And yeah, I think I'll quickly get this stuff back to you know, the store, or probably even back to the junkyard. You know, it'll stay there for a while, and then I'll go round up whatever the crew I can, because I think this Trinic guy needs a visit.
Cool. So Crusher, Dwang, the two of you around when Clutch is looking for folks?
Yeah.
Crusher, Dwang. Head of some definite poodoo going down against some people in our neighborhood. Some guy called Trinic has been hassling a single woman and a son. Maybe she's got involved in something above her head. But you know, this guy sounds pretty mean. We don't want sort of like people like this hanging around the neighborhood. So I think we should teach the guy a lesson. What do you guys say?
Crusher, you've heard the name Trinic. You know, Trinic is Deveronian, and Trinic is like not in tight, but he knows the Dindos. He knows Cap and Murgo.
Yeah, maybe we should check with them first, see if they know where he hangs out when he's not casting people.
Cool. So you guys hop over. So we've done 3 down the dueling ring. We've mentioned that there was a bar near the salvage yard. I don't think we've named it because I don't see it in my notes. Am I misremembering, or did I take poor notes?
I don't think we named it.
We definitely had a bar. I don't think we did name it.
Is it just called the like? Is it a thing that doesn't actually have a name, or do we want to give it a name?
I think it's got to have a name.
Okay.
How about the sort of down low cantina?
Oh, down low. I like that.
You know, doesn't go much further down than this. So yeah, this place is at the lowest point going.
And I think that down low has a reconditioned hollow projecting unit that is always on the fritz. Like, they can't get a live band to play here. If Twang doesn't play, they pipe in music to play at this cantina, and they've got a pre-recorded hollow vid of, it's not even Max Rebo band, it's like a cover band of a Max Rebo band. And it's on the fritz, so it like statics out from time to time. And no matter what song is playing on the loudspeakers, it's the same performance. It's basically total crap. It's poodoo, but yeah, it's a thing that happens in the background. So the 3 of you are there. That's where you can find Cap Dindo. And we'll just jump straight into it. Like, Cap Dindo's got this Wookiee that we now have in the gang. The Wookiee's there with him. We now need to name our Wookiee member of the gang, who's, you know, buddies with Dwang and way taller than Dwang, so of course considers themselves superior. And Cap says, oh man, Trinic, yeah, we know him from way back. He's helped the gang back in the day, before most of you guys were part of it. Which has got to be a lie, because Clutch, you've been around for a long time. You remember when Captain Doe joined the gang and cut his teeth. So why? What's the problem? You need something from Trinic?
Well, yeah, we just want to know is, what's his job? What does he do? What does he do for the gang?
Oh, nothing.
You know,
He
you said
doesn't.
he helped us out back in the day. I can't. Maybe it was while I was out on a road trip, but I can't seem to place him.
Ooh,
Cap.
Dwayne
nice.
pounds on the table and says he's been beating up women and eating little kids.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is totally escalating the situation. That is very Dwang of you. And I think Cat, like, he narrows up and he goes, "You questioning me, Clutch? I told you that he helped us out before. So there you go."
Yeah, I just wanted to know if it was, the same Trinic, because as Dwang says, this ain't right. If he was close to the MC back in the day, what's happened to the guy? Why is he switched?
Nice. I think you're making a case right in front of everybody that of what you want to happen. So I think it's gonna be hard
call him out.
because he's the VP. He feels like he's backed into a corner. His danger's up. So let's put it to a roll. Are you being badass here, or are you being cool? I can see either way.
I think it was going to start being cool, but then I sort of think Dwang went, he upped it. I doubled down on that. So it's got to be badass now.
Awesome.
And I'll toss in a Kark.
Okay.
I think Dwayne's in the back, like, with like a weight. Like, oh, yeah.
Okay, so I've got 2 in badass. Is it jaw? Or is
It's
it
definitely not heart, right? Like, you it doesn't feel like heart to me. Like, you're not being compassionate towards the target.
no?
You're trying to cajole him, right?
Could be a head, maybe, if you're trying to figure it out. But
Or you could try to think your way around Cap. Maybe.
Yeah,
see if
you
there's
tell
some way
me
you
the
can reason
approach.
it
I'm
about,
flexible to it. It doesn't have to be jaw, but
Yeah, I think this is sort of more a battle of wills, quick thinking. Because it's got to be quick,
nice.
because it's badass. But this is sort of like just pinning him down, not giving him enough time to think of anything. Quick fire, question after question after question.
I like it. Don't know if any of your expertise come in here.
I don't think, no, he's not a robot.
All right, so you're rolling 4 dice plus 1 from Dwang, who threw you a Kark. So that's 5. You
6,
want to spend
and I'll throw in the Kark of my own.
All right.
66.
Just need success on half of them.
Let's see what we get. Half, 3 successes.
That's exactly what you needed.
That was tight.
That was really. Oh man, I love it. So yeah, the last thing he said was, well, "What's he done? I don't remember." And finally, he's like, "I don't know. I just whatever. If he eats kids, go mess him up."
Yeah, he's not in the MC. We need to deal this.
Yeah, he doesn't count. It's fine. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I give you guys permission. But hey, listen, you got to go save my uncle soon. I mean, what's going on? I told you to do that.
Yeah. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere at all. We're just getting the intel. We're on it. Let's deal with this. Maybe this guy could know something. Leave it with us. And yeah, I think on the intel provided, we'll go and scope this guy out. Yeah, Crusher and Dwang.
So Dwang, as as you guys are starting to cruise out, you catch like Cap telling, what are we saying, Reyrua? Is that how we want to say the Wookiee's name?
I think we all. So at least Dwayne pronounces it wrong, but I think Ray. He kind of goes by Ray or R, and he's probably used to people mispronouncing his name.
You notice that Cap like motions for Ray to lean down, and he's chatting with Ray, and yeah, just you don't get a good feeling. It's like he's doing it behind Clutch's back.
And Dwayne's not subtle, so I think all he does is he just takes that weight he's been pumping and he tosses it at Ray, so Ray can kind of catch it, and this is the bro equivalent of "I see you."
Nice, I love it. That is fantastic. Awesome. So you guys wanted to go. Here's the thing, Trinick. All you got to do is just ask around. People love you. Hey, where's this Trinick guy? Oh yeah, he's over here. And it turns out that Trinick, I think he works in Undercity, and I think he basically, like, he's muscle for somebody. Low time hustler who runs like an alley dice game. And Trinick just like makes sure that it doesn't get, it's not like the stormtroopers are going to come down here, but he makes sure that somebody doesn't try to roll or steal, that kind of thing. So that's what Trinick does. And you can find out what alley he's at, right? Who wouldn't advertise their game? What do you want to do?
Definitely.
What's the plan?
I think we should just go straight in there and roll him. What do you reckon, Crusher and Dwayne?
You know what Dwayne wants.
I mean, we don't know how much of a nuisance he's been. I mean, I'm not defending anyone who goes hustling single mothers, but I mean, maybe it's enough to just put some fear in him. I mean, I'm not against giving him a hit or two, but I mean, it's good if he still can work, right?
Yeah, I mean, can we get something out of this? I think the main aim is to or how about we make this sort of official? We could use this guy. Could we get him in the detention center? I mean, I think this is enough grounds. I mean, if she put in a complaint, how about somebody goes and talks to her and maybe puts in a bit of emotional lean on her to actually complain to the Imperials or the authorities, and then we could drop him right outside the detention center, or is this too big a plan?
Yeah, I mean, getting the imps involved, I'm not about that. I mean, we do our own thing, right?
Yeah, I just thought, we're getting leaned on by the VP. We need to do something. Let's just go in there and lean on this guy. If he knows anything, Dwang might be able to wring it out of him.
Well, out of character, or no, in character. So basically, he's like, we could always plant something on him and turn him into the authorities, and that might be a good distraction while they process him for us to hit the other place. While they process him in the detention center for us to hit where the uncle is.
Yeah, I like that.
Just plant something on him.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and that will get him away from Hula. If this guy's ends up doing a bit of a stint inside, so be it. I think we've got two birds, one stone here. Crusher, your
just-
opinion?
Just to talk it through for a second, like
Mhm.
the idea of stormtroopers coming down here to deal with somebody who's doing a dice game, like that doesn't happen. You're going to need to make something, like you'd have to drag his shebs up to like middle city and to set something up, which is totally doable. I just want to make sure it's clear. Like if you just roll up on him in a dice game, give him the beat down, there's no stormtrooper. There's nobody who's going to come down here and care.
What I imagine is maybe planting some stolen weapons or something on him and dragging him up to mid city and tossing him right in front of the detention center where he's like, no, it was planted on me. I don't know what this is. And then using his argument and his fight as a distraction while we try and bust in the other side.
That
But-
could totes work. Yeah.
I'm not the planner. I don't know what this means. Yeah.
No, that sounds perfectly reasonable.
Like it.
I don't see any way
Like
that
it.
could go wrong.
What do we have that's hot for the Imperials? What's the uncle in for? What's Murgo in for?
Oh, good one. I think Murgo's in. So he's in a local detention center. So I don't think he got fingered for anything huge, right? Because they haven't executed him. They haven't sent him off to a spice mine. So I think they got him trumped up on a charge for like some petty like tax scheme or something that they could just hold him. And they've been leaning on him trying to get more, but he's been hard about it. That makes sense? Like, does that feel? Damps are just sitting on him at this point. They've trumped up charges. They can't really get anybody to name Murgo for anything serious. So they fiddled some papers, moved some things around, then all of a sudden, hey, you're up on this tax evasion thing.
Can we say that basically the imps run like a protection racket, in the
Oh,
down
of
below?
course.
A little bit?
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
Of course. And, the Zidhounds or Murgo specifically has kind of gotten in their way. Like, no, this is our territory. What are you horning in on? So they've got a trumped up charge and they're trying to, that's where the money, it's not really taxes because I don't know how much taxes we really pay,
Exactly.
but it's sort of like this is the protection money kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah, what's said and what's in the data banks versus what's reality. I like that. So there's an imp, there's an Imperial officer who uses like a squad as protection racket, and they run an extortion ring on some of the middle city stuff. And maybe you guys have encroached on that a little bit, like broken down some of the extortion, messed up one of the squads, and the imp's just like, okay, fine, I'll just go take your king and I'll stick him in this little holding cell. What you gonna do now? And meanwhile, they're questioning him, got an Imperial torture droid, all that good stuff, trying to get him to leak out stuff. So there's a little bit of a timeout. Like Cap isn't wrong to say, hey, your president should be let out of jail.
So let's use this guy as a distraction tool. If he gets put away, I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's just trump up some charges and drag him up. Drag him up to this detention center.
Sweet. It's in the doing, right? Like you've decided to kill two birds with one stone, but you're definitely serving some duracrete justice here, getting this guy away from a person that he's hurting, a couple people that he's hurting, is duracrete justice. So let's engage that first, and then we'll see how things roll forward with your hit on the detention center. So anyone who wants to participate, duracrete justice is badass plus heart. All you need is some kind of success. Here's the thing. We're not rolling to see if Trennick beats you 3 guys up. You're rolling to see if you get some karks back. Like if this makes you feel like you've done a good job, kind of thing is really what it's about. And if you don't feel like you're doing this out of that sense of duty to the community, then maybe you don't roll, right? Does that make sense? If you don't think your character would get anything out of this, then you don't have to roll. So let's see, Dwayne, give us a badass plus heart. And if you get a success, you get it. Yeah.
In this case, I'm not going to roll. I think I'm doing this mainly for the gang, and I
Okay.
don't think I'm doing this for the community. So I'm going to skip rolling.
Cool. That's totally fine. You're also real full up on Karks. So what about Crusher? I'm curious. Is this a thing that matters to you vis-a-vis?
Yeah, I think, I was just in the middle of something, this has sort of taken me away from that. And yeah, against the Duros, that just ain't right. Yeah, this guy needs to go down. I think Duros are a bit of a sort of a level down from these guys. So yeah, I think we need to even up the scales of justice, it would seem, and send this guy down. Yeah, what he's up to is wrong. So is that badass and heart?
It is.
I think. Okay, so I've got 2 in badass and 2 in heart. So 46. Let's see if I can get anything. Just 1. 1-6.
Okay, that's fine. Then just roll a d6 and that's how many cards you get back.
3.
Wow, cool. So you get 3
Yeah, that's good.
Karks back. How violent is Clutch with Trinic? You guys trail him. Maybe they finished up the dice game. It's pretty late, and there's not much light here in Undercity, right? So he's walking back. You guys come up on him. How does Clutch handle that?
Clutch. Well, he's pretty good with his hands. I think this is more of a. I'd like to sort of drag him behind my swoop bike for a bit. So maybe sort of lasso him and skirt him down the street a little bit. Let's burn through the clothes on his back. And he's shouting out after we've dragged him a couple of 100 yards. Stop, get off, pull him on his feet, and tell him that we hear he's been smuggling weapons.
Nice. And he pulls out a vibroblade. He's not going to go down like a kitten, like a loath cat. But you guys have numbers. You guys way tougher. I'm curious though, Crusher, you're in on this, right?
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a bad dude, and if the VP likes him, then he's probably worse, because that kid has no judgment whatsoever. And I mean, if he's hassling single mothers, then he deserves a good kicking.
Cool. All right. You want to roll badass plus heart?
Yeah, I think so. And that is 4 dice. And I get nothing.
Oof.
3 3s and a 2. So
What's the moment that's gonna bother you for a bit, Crusher? What is the moment with this beat down and dragging this guy to, stick weapons on him, that kind of thing that sticks in your craw?
I think he seems when we get into it, he doesn't seem like he's that much of a tough guy. It would probably we could have just scared him and he would have backed off probably. So this was, I feel like maybe we went a bit overboard. This was a bit too much.
It feels like it's too much.
Yeah.
I like it. So bloodied, this Deveronian, maybe like at one point he tries to stick you with a horn, Dwayne. Just tries to headbutt you with one of his horns. What do you do about that?
Oh, I think I grab a hold of both of them and kind of, twist him around and, put him, on the ground by, forcing him with his horns, right? He is trying to headbutt me, and maybe spike me, and I'm like, So we put him on the ground, wrestle him to the ground. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you guys don't take any wounds. Crusher, it doesn't feel great what you're doing, but you're in it. and you guys drag him all the way up to mid city and plant some of your like crap guns, some of your not great, your poodoo guns on the guy, and then dump him right in front of the detention center.
I think it's important that it be like stolen Imperial guns or something like that, because they wouldn't care if we've got guns. I don't know that they care that much, but if he's got some of their guns, then it's a problem.
That's nice. That's nice. So I got to keep in mind of that. That means that you guys as a gang, you have some imp weapons, right?
Well, do you guys think we have many, or do we how do we get that?
I think maybe we have some. I think we could scrounge up some that had been like decommissioned, and we can repair them enough that they seem like they were just old and used.
So this was like garbage, and we filed the serial numbers off and then put a new pack in it, and it'll work for a little while, so it looks like it's stolen and not thrown away.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Cool. So you guys toss some imp weapons on them, maybe like a blaster rifle, and maybe even like one of the cool little holdout pistols that an imp officer might have, and
or maybe like an old discarded piece of armor or something like that we slap on him and
into it. And
and then I think a sort of a quick discreet sort of hollow message straight to the imps saying this guy's outside. He's got some of your poodoo on him. You need to nick him.
Okay. A few moments later, a few stormtroopers hop it out of the detention center, grab this guy, rough him up a little bit, and then drag him inside. And yeah, he'll be in processing. So as they're dragging him away, Clutch, you I'm just trying to make sure this makes sense, but how often do you check on your plant on Velo? Like, do you have any kind of alarm set up, or do you just have a recording going? Like, do you have to see the live feed? What do you think?
I don't think we very often drop to live feed unless we think we need it. I think he'll bulk send a lot of sort of data very late at night when we know he's probably by himself. I mean, he's a droid, so he doesn't need to sleep, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But definitely at the sort of dead hours when we think he's not engaged with somebody else, that's when it's just going to send us sort of like some compressed bulk recordings.
Yeah.
I very rarely think we turn on the live side because I think it is risky. It could put Velo at risk.
Exactly. If he's broadcasting as things are happening, then somebody could pick up, oh, there's a signal coming out of Velo. So you don't normally watch the feed. Okay, cool. So then now we've had this conversation. Don't forget, help me, the DM, remember, the next time you check that feed, let's talk about that scene.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right. So you guys got an Imperial Detention Center. You've put in your person that will keep them distracted at least. And of course, we've got our IDC map. You know that he's going to be probably in prisoner check-in and processing for a bit. There's a guard station. There's probably more than a squad worth of stormtroopers all told in the Imperial Detention Center. The good news is that once you get past the guard station into the cell units themselves, they're just closed up, right? So what's the plan here?
That's a good question. What is the plan? Can we take a break?
You know what? This is perfect time anyway. Let's go ahead and take our mid-game bio break. We're back, and it's been fun. This break was used with these guys planning a little bit, but it wasn't over much. It's not like it was a Shadowrun session. Sorry, I have hang-ups about Shadowrun, but it's earned through actual play. Back in the day, before I played games like Forge of the Dark, where you could quickly come up with the loose structure of a plan and then just roll forward. So there were some ideas you guys had posted, and I believe, Clutch, you were interested in doing a quick little flashback to set up something for what you guys are about to go forward with. I think that's a great idea. So pitch me, what's the idea for the flashback? And let's see if we can make that work.
Earlier, Crusher and Dwang had said that, we're going to fit this guy, Trinic, up with some old Imperial weaponry, put in a power pack, make it look as if it works, because it was thrown away sort of junk that we got from our scrap area or some people we knew. And so, yeah, I'd like a sort of flashback where you see me, with welding goggles on, some really small magnifiers, say, and I'm installing some incendiary device, something that's going to create maximum sort of flash and smoke inside one of these power packs, maybe a sort of like a shorting device. That's going to short that power pack out, and up it's going to go. So yeah, I'm going to put that on a timer. So hopefully they're going to take these weapons off him, and they're not going to have enough time to ship them somewhere else. They're going to put them in storage. That's my aim, my hope. And then poof, they're going to go up, cause some confusion. That's hopefully going to distract the Imperials and give us some time. So yeah. You see me soldering away, installing some maybe sort of like squibs, that sort of thing. Maybe a couple of smoke cartridges, something like that. That's what I'd like to flashback. Me at the old 18 bench special.
All right, let's see how well you pull that off. You're definitely being cool, right? This is part of your backup or your plan. With flashing back to, you're using tools to do this. It sounds like arson is a thing that's in play here.
Yeah.
So you set the difficulty, and that's the amount of trouble that will be coming down on your targets. That make sense?
Yeah. Yep. So I would be rolling with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to make this look good, so I'm going to throw in a kark. Let me get rid of that now. So that's going to give me 8d6. So I think, do you say you want me to set the difficulty?
Yeah, the higher the difficulty that you set, the more chaos that it causes to make the rest of what's going on happen.
I'd like to go with, I'd like to say this was karking hard.
Okay.
We're not looking at a huge, no, I'm going to say hard.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
I want it to work. So yeah, let's just go for hard.
Okay. I hear you. That's why I wanted to see. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I know I'll get so annoyed when loads of 6s come up, and I'll be like, "Damn, it could have been a lot better."
But you feel fully confident.
8d6. Let's see what we get. Wow, that's poor. This might not work, or it might just fizz. That's only 2 successes out of 8 dice.
You got it. You feel confident. This thing is good. It's gonna work. It's some of your best work. Very proud of it.
Yeah, this is gonna smoke like a smoking chimney.
See, and now it's probably good that you did set karking hard, right? That makes a difference or something. Awesome. Fantastic. I am a super fan of this idea. So let's jump forward then. What is your insertion point? What's the plan to get inside? I'd heard, and I was just coming back from break myself, I'd heard the mention of the possibility of the trash chute. Are there other ways that you guys want to get inside? Like, you're going to use that to distract them, to try to pull as many stormtroopers away, right? but how you're going to get in. And then I think there was also talk of slicing. So walk me through those pieces of the plan.
Did you want to do a little scene to get some pre-info, Crusher?
Yeah, I was going to use. There's probably some Imperial working here who we have some dirt on, since they're not behaving particularly well, or can find some dirt on. And we just want a small favor, just to find out which cell our president is held in. So it's nothing big, just a small thing, and we want to tell your superiors about how you've been pulling in some extra credits for doing protection on the side in the lower city.
Sweet. So you're hoping to what? Catch some imps who might be on the take to get a little bit of intel
basically
on where he's at. Awesome. That sounds good. Sounds like you're trying to be cool about it, right? You're not going in and putting a gun in people's faces.
Yeah. This is very, very friendly. Just a favor for a favor kind of thing.
Nice.
So I think it's be cool. I think this is Jaw.
That feels right.
And well, bribery or blackmail, I've got both. So,
exactly.
Is that's 1 die extra, right?
It is.
That's 7 dice. Let's see
7
if
dice. I'm going to say if you're going after just like a lowly stormtrooper, it's normal difficulty. I mean, these are imps, right? Bribing a stormtrooper to look the other way just means it's going to work until someone above their pay grade tells them to do the opposite. So
yeah, cool.
See how it goes.
See, this is better. 3 successes.
3 successes. You only needed 2. So you end up talking to, we'll say that it's a CX-048. CX-048, maybe you catch up with him at 3 down, because they've after that recent trouble that happened, like some crazy Swoop Bikers came in and caused some trouble there. They've stepped up patrols. So you end up catching up with CX-048, and he's into you, Crusher, right? Like, you bribe him. You don't have to blackmail the guy, because isn't do a whole lot worthy of blackmail that you're aware of. But yeah, a little bit of bribe, like slip him a few credits, and he will roll on this. He'll tell you what he knows. He says, "Oh, see, he's still in. He'll be in uniform, right?" So he says, "Yeah, things aren't looking so good for that Deveronian. The lieutenant who runs that detention center has been leaning on him real hard. Broke all of his fingers. You know, standard interrogation, heavy stuff. Used some Imperial interrogation droid on him, pumped him up with a bunch of drugs. He's in the 2nd cell. As you come from the guard station, 2nd cell on the left. I'm not sure how much is worth scraping up off the floor, the poor guy."
Yeah, he's been talking then.
Here and there, we're still trying to verify things. He's talking, but the last couple of things he told us, we jumped and it was all a lie. So, you know, they keep stepping it up. He'll break. You may have already broken by now.
Yeah.
You're not dating him, right? You're not dating anyone, are you, Crusher?
Nah, I don't date Deveronians.
Oh, cool.
Too horny.
Yeah, I get that. That's great. I mean, if that's what you like. Yeah. There you go. CX has told you where he is and what kind of state he's in.
Yeah, that's we were talking last session about maybe how whether we're or really all that interested in actually getting him out there, but we got to be seen to put in the effort at least.
Right, and so he hasn't rolled over on the Zithounds, right? So he's going through a lot. I mean, he needs to get out of there.
Yeah, we need to get him out.
Yeah. Before he tells them anything important.
Oh, he'll die first.
One way or the other.
So I think Dwayne's part in this, if we're going in through the trash chute, is he's going up and climbing up, and I think we have like knotted ropes and stuff to get up here, and it's all dirty and stanky. But I think his job is to get up, and he's ripping the grill off. I think there's grates and grills and that kind of stuff, and he's just tearing it all up, trying to make a path for us to get up through this trash chute, and maybe taking where there's a limited space and widening it and just brute strengthening it so that we can get in.
Sweet. I think that's just a matter of time, right? I don't think there's a there's a risk of possibly setting off an alarm if you cark it up, right?
Well, and Dwayne could be stupid enough to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, that could be a thing too. So let's put this to a roll.
Okay.
I think prying apart that bar, I'm gonna say that it's a normal thing. Well, yeah, if you've got tools. If you're doing it by hand, then I'm gonna call it karking hard. But if you've got tools, then we'll say that it's doing it without setting off any alarms is just straight up hard.
Okay. So I think that Dwayne starts to do it by hand, and then either Clutch or Crusher, one of them is like, no, you've got to use tools to make sure it pops off. He's not like a cat burglar who comes in and wraps everything in cloth so it doesn't make any noise whenever it falls. He's just ripping through stuff. So, and I think so. He's flexing whenever he does this. So do you think this would be cool or badass?
I feel like he's trying to be a badass, right?
I think so.
I think you could.
And then
I'm into it.
I think he starts out. I think whenever he starts out, and this is way back, he's doing it by hand, and it makes enough noise. I think the other two are like, no. Here's a crowbar. You need to do this, and he kind of frowns at him a little bit, but knows he's wrong, and starts just pulling things off with the tools, and he might get I think that the equivalent of screws in Star Wars are kind of countersunk and you can't see them. So he like bends up one corner so you can get to where it is and unscrew them and everything like that. So that's badass and tools. I think that's probably it.
Okay.
I don't think this counts. I'm gonna toss in a couple of karks.
It's hard, so that's probably a good call.
It gets me to 7 dice. I say I'm gonna toss in another one to get me to a full 8, just because we kind of want this to work in a decent way. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah, that's sweet. No ones and a lot of successes. Yeah, it comes across like butter. There's a moment where you catch that there's like a little wire there and you realize, oh yeah, I need to like loop that in on itself so it doesn't break the circuit. And then you pull that thing free with the crowbar, your pry bar, and hand it to somebody rather than just dropping it off on the ceiling. Still looks kind of badass the way you did it though. So
I think he throws it and somebody else catches it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just throw it, like fling it, and guys like catches it. Is it just the 3 of you guys, or was that like were you imagining Crusher and Clutch were with you, or do you have other members of the gang that are up top?
Yeah. No, I think we're going to need some. Definitely, if we pull this off, we'll need some distraction crew. So yeah, I think we'll bring along some pledges, possibly.
Cool.
Yeah, you know, they're not there to engage Imperial forces. We know we'll never win that. You know, it's just to provide a bit of a display and then, you know, disperse.
So we'll say it's Ray that snags the grate out of the air. So now there's a little tension up on the roof, right? Because we know there was a thing, and there's like, I see you, and there's a little bit there. You guys, a little in each other's faces, but not exactly, right? You got your work to do, but that's a thing. Sweet. So the roof is good to go. Crusher, you now, and I have updated our map with just a little notation of where CX048 told you Murgo's cell was. So what, Crusher, what's your next step in the plan?
I think, I mean, we're expecting this this incendiary device to go off and
Totally.
And distract them. So I figure, are we just like climbing up the trash chute and waiting for that to happen, or do we? I'm not sure how we're going to play this or how
Awesome.
we're supposed to.
It goes
I think
off,
that- yeah.
and it's you hear the loud pop. It's just like somebody blew up a paper bag and just bam. But then smoke just starts rolling out of the room where they put the evidence and just keeps going. Just so much smoke. It like starts to fill up they're troopers that are like looking at each other and they're motioning and they're talking to each other. It's obvious. And they're like, wait, why am I having trouble breathing? Aren't there filters on our mask? And it's like, did you clean your filters? I'm like, what? I got to clean my filters. I just turned my helmet in. And then there's a bit of argument going on there, and that they just kind of disappear into the smoke. And so it's billowed out, and the prisoner check-in and processing is filled with this kind of white smoke that smells like a little sweet, like, you know, like nice, like aromatic, like a cigar smoke. It's kind of, except it's just pea soup thick. And now it starts roiling into the guard station, and the guards are looking up and they're like, what's going on? And talking to each other. We need to get somebody to check it out. Check what out? I can't see anything. And they're like, well, turn on your night vision. This helmet's not approved for night vision. Ugh. And yeah, then all of a sudden it starts running down the main of the cell units. Now the cell units are going to fill up as well, and people are coughing, and some of the prisoners are complaining like, hey, I'm choking over here. I'm allergic to smoke. Let me out. And it's now visibility is nil.
Is it just a couple of troopers here, or?
There are a lot of troopers, but there weren't any in the cell units hallway. They were just kind of holed up at the guard station at this point. And you hear, well, I'm gonna hope I don't sound too staticky, but you would hear over the announcing. Oh, hold on a second. They've changed a thing on me. Here we are. You say, attention detention center. Please secure prisoners. Secure prisoners and confirm visual that all prisoners are still present in their cells. And that's that's what you hear, just a little, turn on a bit of an alarm, and this detention center, they're going to try to shut it down.
Hey, Clutch, I think we got to go now, or it will be too late.
100%.
So Dwayne
100%.
runs down. His job is to kind of cover everybody. He's going to run down between the first and the second cell and just stand in the hallway, you know, at arm, you know, aiming down through the smoke. Can't see anything, coughs a little bit, but he's kind of holding cover.
Cool. Sweet. So you're holding cover, and Clutch and Crusher, how are you guys? You guys going to follow through? For you coming through a different insertion point? What was your plan?
No. We're going to use that insertion point. I'm going to hopefully try and clearly I'm playing it quite cool that the smoke has worked, but secretly I know that's overworked massively. That's gone mad. I'm going to try and look for a hookup point into the sort of local grid system, and I'm going to try and slice in to at least pop the door where our man is. But I think that's my first aim action. I think I may have to do something to either lock this down if they start coming down here, or maybe turn on the ventilators, put them at 500% maybe if this smoke is poisonous.
Yeah, sounds good. That sounds good. Awesome. So I don't imagine when you built this bomb, you built it with poison gas, right? So I'm sorry, you're muted, Paul.
It could have reacted with something.
Could be poisonous. Who knows? It's making people cough.
Yeah.
So right. So you pop a cover and you start to slice in. And what is Crusher doing?
I think Crusher is like rushing forward towards the cell because
nice. So you meet up with Dwang, and as you guys go, there are a couple of stormtroopers who kind of move in through the gloom, and they like are right up on you before you see them. Dwang, you were there first, but Crusher's just come up, and you know her well enough, right? But what do you do, Dwang, when these two stormtroopers get right up in your face?
So, I've been itching for this. I think I grab one of the stormtroopers by his feet and try and pull him off of his feet and into the other one to knock him down. And once they're down, I'll get on top of them and stuff, and we'll see what happens. But
awesome. Normal fight, right? There's so much going on. It's so hard for them to see. You're a Doug, so you're like going for their feet. So it's a normal difficulty, but tension is definitely involved in this role, right?
So I think I'm badass hands because I'm not using my gun yet. And assault, that'll work.
For sure.
So I think I'll stick with that.
Okay. Go for it.
So how many dice are you at?
I'm at 7.
Yeah, then I don't think I need to throw in a card.
No, I think I'm fine. And my roll, I think I got 5 successes. And I got a 1.
You got a 1 and 5 successes. So you lose a kark.
Okay.
Just 1. But yeah, you grab one stormtrooper, slam him into the other. A blaster bolt goes off and bounces off a couple of the walls and lands right near you. And he was just right where your hand was, right? That's where you lose the kark. It's like, I almost got my hand shot off. So yeah, Crusher, you hear the blaster going off. People are like, oh, blaster fire. And there are probably more troopers on the way. You could hear them. Clump, 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 clump. Let's cut to Clutch. You're trying to patch into the system and open up that door. So slicing in, you have a couple of options. You can do I'm thinking of prison systems in the United States. Like there's one that opens all the doors. Like, hey, it's break time. Open all the doors. But then they can also do selection. I think the difficulty will depend on that. So if you wanted to open all the doors, that is hard. If you just want to like localize to your boss, Murgo, we'll call that karking hard.
I don't think this is cool anymore. I think, we're under fire here.
I think so.
So
that feels
sounds
right
like
to me.
Badass.
Yep. I think tools are what you're using to do the slicing.
Yeah, and I've got the slicing expertise, so we're up to 6 dice. I'll throw in a kark 7. Let's open all the doors.
Okay, so you're looking for 3 successes. Tension is involved in the roll, so ones are gonna hurt you.
7 dice. Here we go. Let's see what we get. We are rolling. Oh, two
Four
ones.
successes,
Nasty.
2 1s and 4 successes. So I think what happens as Crusher and Dwayne, you guys just finished up with those Paris troopers, more on the way. You hear, man, and all of the doors open up to all the cells. There are these silhouettes of guys that are kind of stumbling out, and nobody's moving out of Murgo's cell at this point. I think Clutch, the tension for you, the losing the 2 karks, do you think it's like a wired feedback or just the pure stress of the situation and knowing your guys are there surrounded by prisoners with stormtroopers on the way? Which of those 2 do you think affects you the most?
I think this is stress. You know, I normally like it to be nice and controlled.
Your forehead's covered in sweat. You know, you got your fingers are a little wet from all that, but you've done it. You've opened those doors. And Dwayne and Crusher, you guys are about to have to deal with some troopers. I apologize, but I'm going to need to take like a 2-minute break. So
yeah.
Also, we're back. Thank you so much, guys, for giving me that minute there. And so the last moment we cut away, Clutch had successfully opened all the doors. There were prisoners stumbling out into the hallway where Crusher and Dwayne are, as well as some stormtroopers on their way. Some probably come from the guard station, potentially from prisoner check-in and processing. So Crusher, what do you want to do? You know what Dwayne's going to do.
Yeah,
I'm concerned.
Oh, sorry. I think Crusher and
go
Clutch will
ahead.
keep.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
you know, we discussed this. So
awesome.
Yeah, sorry, Dwayne, you were going to check on Margot, right?
No, I was going to collect the guns from the
Right.
troopers.
Then I'll go check on Margot first, see if he's capable of moving or if he's not in the cell at all or what's going on.
Awesome. You step in, waving in front of your face, try to clear something. You end up at the bed.
Press. You hear?
You lean in, and he's out of it. He's got his left eye is all swollen up, swollen shut. His right eye opened up just a little bit. Crusher. Hey, Crusher. Surface eyes. He's messed up. What do you do?
I just try to pull him off the bed and try to get him out into the corridor and down towards the trash chute.
Sweet. So you can lift him up. That's fine. You're strong enough, right? I mean, we look at your hands, feet, toes. Yeah, you're strong enough to do that. Even though he's got a lot more body weight than you do, you're fine. You know how to manage that. Dwayne, you grab a blaster rifle, man. It's nice. It's shiny. It looks new.
I grabbed both of the troopers' blaster rifles, and one I tossed to the prisoner that came out of like cell number 1 or whoever the biggest prisoner is. I'm like,
yeah,
cover us. You know, we'll get out, and you know, fire a couple of times and then slink back to cell number 2. Yeah.
Sweet. And yeah, you're going to start firing blind to where like the good news is you got a bit of a bottleneck. The bad news is there are other prisoners who are like, I know where the exit is. So as you're firing, there guys jostling you and the like, and there are stormtroopers coming in as well. Crusher comes out from behind you. She has Murgo. So I'm going to switch to Clutch. You've done your slicing job. It looks like Crusher has Murgo. What are you doing?
I'd like to continue slicing. I want to seal that door. You know, close the blast doors.
Oh, sweet. So you got to close that door so no more troopers can come in.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, that should buy us a little bit of escape time, hopefully.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Let's see you do that. I think right now, as you're back in and slicing, you see somebody's on the controls on the other side, and they see like it appears that someone's trying to close the blast doors. Well, don't let them. And so you're going to have a karking hard time pulling this off.
Okay. So let's build this roll. I think, again, this is under pressure, so I think it's badass. I think, I've got the right tools and I've got skills. So that's up me to 6. I'm going to spend the kark.
I'm gonna
7
Enemies
dice.
involved. 7 dice. You need 4 successes.
I'm going to kick a kark in as well, and this is those stormtroopers that are trying to oppose you are under fire from us.
86 I'm rolling, and it's karking hard.
Yeah.
So I need 4 successes. Hopefully it's better than the last roll. Let's see what we get.
Oh, that looks good. That is 5
Oh, that's
successes.
good, and
actually.
only one.
Hurts a little bit, man. There's a bit where he actually sends some feedback through the line, but he's so busy trying to do that to you. You just powered through it, and bam. Hold on. I'm a dork, and I'm going to make you guys listen to my sound effect. So, sorry, but not sorry.
Let's have a blast off.
Wait, was that loud enough? Here. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Shuts closed, and you hear somebody fires a blast rifle on the other side. It bounces several times, and several stormtroopers scream at that karking idiot. But now you're in here with 2 knocked out stormtroopers and a bunch of prisoners. And one of the guys is like, "Hey, somebody shut the karking doors. How are we supposed to get out of here?" So yeah.
Do you think you could rally them, Crusher? Sort of lead them? At least give them some sort of sense of direction, these prisoners, and get them operating as a sort of a small squad. Do you reckon?
Sure. There are at least 8 prisoners who are willing to do what it takes to get out of here.
So Dwayne will grab Murgo from Crusher, because Crusher was carrying him along. So you're more free.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'll try to just find a way down through the smoke towards the trash chute.
Oh, you're going to take them out through the trash chutes, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man. Do you are you telling these guys, hey, we're headed this way? Because it's still pea soup thick. It's not like anybody's turned on the ventilator successfully to get rid of all that smoke. You're coughing, your eyes are starting to water up a little bit from this.
I don't care about the other prisoners. If they make it out, fine, but that's their problem. We're here for the press. So
Okay.
I'm trying basically to make sure the way is clear for Dwang and what's his name, Margot.
And Murgo, you press.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you can make it to the trash chute. I imagine that it's like a straight up chute, right? Like it's a thing where you got to toss Murgo and he's going to slide down the chute and you go after him. Sweet. You go down. I imagine you're sliding on your butt, but Murgo kind of went down head first, splooshed into the trash area, and then you follow after. Dwang, what are you doing?
Yeah, so basically I'm going down, and I think I'm riding, I'm going down the chute, but I think we're trying to make sure that we go back the same way we kind of came in. I think that there's probably multiple directions, and we have getaway drivers or getaway bikes ready for whenever we pop out where we came in, we can hop on them and get out of here.
Awesome. Now, what's the exfiltration plan for Clutch? It sounds like we got Crusher and Dwang situated. They're headed down to the trash chute. They're in the murky brine that is the trash chute. What's Clutch doing?
Yeah, well, now that top door is sealed, and I definitely don't want to meet some Imperials. I think, I'm going to sort of push my way through this throng of other detainees and get down that trash chute.
Nice. I think you run into one of them that you recognize. Does that feel right?
Yeah,
Clutch?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So let's say it's a weak way. Hom rank. And Hom rank through the murk he makes you. He's like, Clutch, what's going on? Come on, man. It's a breakout, but I'm not breaking out. Where are you going? I'll come with you.
Sure, man. Yeah, stick close by. Yeah, let these other guys deal with the Imperials. Get down on your hands and knees and, follow me.
Yeah. Okay, he does. He puts a hand on you. He's trying to keep you to where he can feel you if he can't see you. Now, Crusher, let me ask you. Homronk the Weequay, why is he bad news? Like, why is he in here? What did he do that it kind of deserves to be in here?
I'm not sure why he's in here, but we know he's a snitch. I mean, he talks to the Imperials all the time.
Can we actually say that he's a snitch on the Black Sun?
Oh,
Yeah,
snap!
Yeah.
And the Imperials kind of put him in here to keep him safe.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Nice twist. Nice twist to the knife. Sweet. And I have a picture that's dropping in just a moment here of our slightly rotund, snitchy rat fink Weequay coming up. There is Homronk. Yeah, snitch on the Black Sun. Free from imp. Center by Clutch. And when he realizes you're headed to the trash chute, he's like, "Hey, there's nothing down there, but just trouble, man. Why are we going in there?"
It's the way out, Homronk.
Oh, sorry.
Nice. It's the way out. Cool. So he'll go in with you if that's all he needs. He's definitely not gonna try to fight you over it. Sweet. So you guys sploosh down, and now there's some lights in here. The smoke hasn't really come down to this point. It's the first time you can see each other. And it's the first time, Clutch and Dwayne, you get any kind of look at Murgo. Murgo's hands are a mess. Like, they're just kind of gnarled things. You see his face has been beaten. He's lost some teeth. They've actually sheared his horns. He is in rough shape. He is basically hanging on to Crusher to stand up.
Well,
So
we've got to get him to a med guy quick.
That's going to be interesting. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys had this all figured out. You know that you've got your bikes outside.
Yeah, let's try and sort of manhandle him. Clearly, he's not able to get up there himself. And yeah, let's set up some sort of human ladder to pass him up. Yeah, let's find out how it's going with the team up top. Yeah, I think you'll see Clutch sort of, speaking on a comms device. What are the Imperials doing?
Nice. And I guess this is to Ray, because that's our named member of the other group. And Ray roars over the comm unit back to you guys. And you can speak enough Wookiee to know shooting, lots of shooting, blast doors open again, fighting going on. They're up on the roof. They're about to ditch at this point, unless you tell them to do something else.
We need our bikes over here quickly to this spot. We got him. We got the boss.
Oh, nice. So you tell Ray that you've got the boss, and there's a pause, and when we hear
nice one, Ray. I hear what you're saying, but get those bikes down here now.
Sweet.
So yeah, I think we're going to form this human sort of ladder and try and haul the boss sort of up out of this garbage system, to the street level.
Nice. I think there's a moment where you guys start all this going on, and Hamronk looks and he's like, "Oh, so we're doing this then? Okay, yeah." And he tries to heft up like he's the bottom of the ladder. And then Dwang, you being agile with like hands and feet, I imagine you're the middle part, and Crusher up top trying to pull him through. And he groans with the pain, but sucks it up. It's not like Margot's complaining. It hurts. You feel like there's a point, Clutch, when you grab hold of his side and you feel it kind of give in, like there should be ribs there, they're broken. And Crusher, when you pull him up, you feel his wrist is dislocated, right? Like it just kind of comes like a wet rag in a way. But you eventually pull him up and out of the trash chute. You guys are covered in muck and whatever they use to slowly dissolve the trash over time. They can't afford a Dianoga at this particular time. I know you guys were excited for it. You're probably waiting for the Dianoga at any moment. But I pull a fast one on you. They didn't have a Dianoga in this one. Apologies. Maybe later. Cool. So you guys end up on the dusty alleyway to the outside of this Imperial detention facility. And sure enough, there's speeder bikes being delivered to you guys. They've tethered, right? Like, so each three of these, they've tethered, and all three of your bikes are behind them, and they come up and like kind of drop those off, and they've got whatever crap blaster rifles or pistols. They're trying to cover you guys so you can get it. What are you going to do about Ham, the snitch on the Black Sun?
I think this guy's a perfect guy to use. So, I'm going to say, hop on, Horon. We'll get you at safety.
You bet. He's going to try to ride with Crusher because, pretty girl versus you two. Sorry.
Dwayne picks up the president and is like surprisingly gentle and puts him on Dwayne's bike. And it's got the roll bars and everything like that. But he kind of puts him on the back, makes sure he's as comfortable as possible, and hops in and gets ready to tear off.
Nice. And I think what you hear as you guys are loading everybody up is,
but they're over here. They're over here. Escaping prisoners.
And of course you get to hear the wonderful blaster fire coming around the corner as you guys are hopping onto your swoop bikes and trying to fly away. So it looks like Dwang has the president, unless Crusher, you shove Ham off of your bike, then you've got Hamronk.
Clutch, that's what Clutch was going for, and where he's running the show right now. So
nice. So Clutch, what's the plan here?
It's all got to be about keeping the president safe. So yeah, I think hightail it out here. But as I am on, I think we could set something out with Hrom here as we drive off. So I'll be in comms with Dwang, and Crusher's hopefully got an earpiece. So yeah, might not be able to sort of throw in too much for the plan, but I think I don't want Hrom dobbing us in to the Imperials. I think somehow we got to make it look as if we're busting the Prez out on orders of the Black Sun. What do you reckon, Dwang?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Interesting.
How do you think we're going to make it look like it's the Black Sun? Or maybe the actual target, it wasn't the president, it was Ham.
Yeah. That's a damn... Do you reckon you could spin that, Crusher? Sort of build him up, make it sort of as if it was he was the target?
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to him while we ride. Like,
Cool. Yeah.
Really lucky we got you out of there. There's this was a big win for us to save you from the
Yeah, you got
detention
your
center.
present too. I noticed you have really nice, thin hips here, Crusher. Yeah.
Yeah, just keep your hands to yourself, or
I mean, I gotta hold on.
yeah, careful where you put your.
I don't see
put your
handlebars
hands,
anywhere.
or,
If you want them off your hips, I can move my hands up. It's up to you, Crusher. But he doesn't push any harder than that. That was just
yeah.
woo. He's screaming in the wind, excited to be free. And you guys fly off with stormtroopers firing at you as effectively as they did the Millennium Falcon, which is to say, not at all. And so where do we pick up with you guys in Undercity? What's the plan with Prez, who basically, Dwayne, I think he passes out at some point. Like, it's just, the pain is too much of all this movement. Everything hurts.
Yeah, Dwang, do you reckon? I mean, this is just speaking as we're driving home. Do you reckon you could, really put the heat on this Hom guy? Sort of threaten him somehow.
You
When
want me
this
to
is
do
all
that?
cooled down, we drop the Prez off. If we then sort of drive around with Hom, really put the leaners on him to say it was for, as Crusher's already set it up, it was for him, the extraction. Maybe he can owe us something. Maybe he's still got some dirt on the Black Suns, maybe.
Maybe. In order to do this, we need to make sure. I'm sure he has dirt on the Black Suns. He'd tell us he would, right? And I think we would push him and say, well, the Black Suns probably want you quite a bit, so we could always, turn you in for the reward.
You think they're actually going to pay the reward? I got all the reward I want right now. This is pretty Philly. Let me just ride around with Crusher for a while. Come on, guys. It's been a while. So I touched a pretty girl.
So do you want to, Crusher, do you want to try and convince him while I threaten him?
Sure.
Nice. So how does that go down? You want to put it to a roll? The plan is to convince him to give you what dirt he has on the Black Sun? Or is there a different?
Yeah, so I think that's definitely something we could want. Or do we think he's going to run his mouth on us? I think that's the only other thing we need to consider.
I think
so. Do we press him for info on the Black Suns, or do we, so he doesn't spill the beans on us?
So I think he could definitely spill the beans on us. That's what snitches do. But we might be able to use him to see if we can find a decent doc for the president.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the kind of dirt we're looking for from the Black Sun, is they have a dock that we could take him to.
Yeah, I mean, because they're a higher level up the city, they'd probably get access to better. Yeah. No, I think that's totally cool.
They're totally like tier 3 up in here. That's Rondish. Sorry, I was excited about Stars in the Dark, guys. You just don't even know. Okay, sweet. So then the plan is, it sounds like you definitely don't want him to blab on you, but he's snitch, so who even knows, right? But are there Black Sun docs that can help you out? That's totally doable. And I don't even think that's the thing he's going to put up too much of a fight on. So let's say it's a normal difficulty. And tension is not involved in the role. I mean, it almost is, because you're worried about your Prez going down for the count, but also nobody's chasing you, nobody's firing a gun at you. So I think I will say tension is not yet involved.
So, yeah, okay.
What?
So basically, I think as long as you can point us to a medic who can patch up our prez, I'll take you for a ride.
Oh my God. This is amazing. Sweet. I guess we're gonna see a roll to see if he's actually, if he was just joking around to mess with you, or if he's really interested in that. So
Yeah.
okay.
So this is being cool, I think.
Yeah.
And it sounds like jaw
Yeah.
and probably bribery. I'm offering him something he wants.
Yeah, I think so. It definitely feels like bribery. Your skills of bribery would be helpful here.
Yeah. So I got 7 dice. Let's see. Oh. I got 1. No, 4 are successes.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, then I got 4.
Oh, sweet.
I rolled 1 6 and 3 4s. I thought I was screwed there, but
Nice. That's pretty great. He says, oh, this is the best deal of the day. Get out, get sprung by my friends here on the Zid Hounds. Pretty lady, best stuff. I'm into it. Yeah, here. I know they've got most of those mid guys in the mid, they use like vets and stuff. These guys actually have an actual doctor on staff in a hotel. It's called Hotel Artemis. Come on. I got a special way to get in. Problem is, I probably shouldn't be seen with you. But I'll give you the codes, and then you and me, Crusher, we'll go out. We'll paint the town. It'll be great.
sure.
And yeah, he's going to give you the location for an upper city place called Hotel Artemis, and I'm just liberally stealing from a movie I happen to like. It is a no guns allowed, medical people on staff, safe house. And they don't care. Like the Black Suns technically fund it, but they'll serve anybody. It's a safe house. If you know the words to get in and you pay the fee, it's no problem whatsoever. So paying the fee is probably a thing you guys maybe want to think about, but you don't have to do that right yet. Like the bill comes later, right? That's how it works. So what's the plan?
I think we've got to move at all pace, up a couple of levels to the mid-level, and get the president booked in.
Nice.
What do you two think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's floor these swoop bikes. Start climbing.
Sweet. So we just skip ahead. You guys have hightailed it out of the detention center, and you are now in Upper City. Posh. You can look down on everything. Everything's clean. You Crusher, you're like, everybody here is almost all human. Like there's definitely a species divide here. So luckily you can kind of fit in, but these guys stick out a little bit, especially in your speeder bikes and the like, and you got some seriously wounded folks, so it looks a little weird, but soon you find yourselves at this beautiful hotel. You come in, drop in the passcode, and there's a security staff. There's a guy who's like, he's a cyborg. He's had so much chrome put on him. And he's scary looking, kind of cyborg. Like, you guys are badasses. But in like just deep down, this guy one-on-one would crush. I mean, Dwayne, you probably don't think this. The rest of the sensible people all think this guy, if he got his hand on you, he would crush whatever part of your body he has in his hand. And he's got like the Terminator, like red eye glowing type thing. And he scans over the deets that you guys hand over. And Ham's gone. He's long gone. He didn't even come up to Upper City. So it's just like you guys and a few of your prospects with you, Ray along as well, and you bring Murgo in, and he's like, oh, I did a number on this guy. And they call, and so a couple of orderlies come up with a gurney, and they're gonna cart Murgo off to, he's gonna get worked on. It's gonna be pricey, but they do good work. Guy says, no guns. You guys come in with them. I gotta check you. If you try to sneak something in, I'm gonna take it away from you and hurt you. Come in or you stay out.
Yeah, I'll leave my gun. Sounds fair.
And Dwayne kind of flexes a little bit and puts all of his guns up on the counter and everything. You're like, kind of sizing this guy up. Boss, you want me to go with the president?
Yeah, keep eyes on him all the time. While he's out, you don't know what's going to happen. This was never. Yeah, we don't know this place, so keep an eye on him, Dwayne.
So I'll go with them, on the gurney and everything, and in the elevator while they're, prepping him. They might not let me into the operating room or whatever equivalent they have here, but I might be able to look through the glass and all that.
Yeah, they give you a point. Like, yeah, if Dwayne is the thug, they're used to this, capos and the like, having people that got to keep eyes on him at all times. So that's what Dwayne's going to be doing. What about Crusher? Are you?
I'll stick with the bikes and keep an eye on them, just to make sure nothing happens. And since I'm human, I don't stick out as much, so I probably draw less attention.
You're a little grimy. You've got like some like detention center brine on you, so it's just nice. But yeah, you're human. So
yeah, I try.
She belongs here. She just needs a bath. These guys, though.
I try to find some place where I can at least wash off the worst of it.
Okay.
But
Cool. Yeah, you could find some kind of love hotel or some gym or something, where you can wash up. What about Clutch? What's the plan with Clutch?
I think I'm just going to hang around inside, because we do stand out like a sore thumb. And really, yes, I mean, I'm quite interested in how linked these guys are to the other gang. So I'm going to keep an eye out. See if they call anybody, that sort of thing.
Sweet. So Hotel Artemis, as long as you're okay with it, they'll take you to where there's. I mean, calling it a waiting room isn't exactly right, because it looks like just this nice lounge. Everything's in this really refined leathers, and there's an actual full-on totally working hollow screen that's showing some movie or something. It's a little bit of light music. There's some like snacks and stuff. It's almost like a mix between a conference room and a hotel lobby kind of deal. And there are a few other people who are here, but nobody's making conversation. Like, no one has any weapons, right? This guy's thorough as all get out. But you recognize there's a woman here by the name of Arani Argent. She's on the NPCs tab up on the top row. And Arani is generally considered like a socialite, but she's involved in some of the underworld trade and stuff like that. But she's here just checking a data pad and seems pretty cool about what's going on. Maybe she's waiting on somebody. We're not entirely sure why she's here. There are a few other folks that are around, including there is a Deveronian female. I'm not sure if you would be up on recognizing people within the Black Sun. Clutch, what do you think?
No, I don't think unless they really do sort of stand out. Yeah, I ain't gonna know many of their sort of pledges or
So you don't
yeah.
know
So
who
unless it's
she
the real
is,
key
but you
players.
recognize a black sun tattoo on the side of her neck.
Okay. I'm clearly gonna have to keep an eye on them. But we I'm gonna go along with it. They're unarmed. I'm quite interested. I would like to saddle over to Irani. Yeah, and I'm quite interested in why she's here. So I'll start taking a look over at that data pad she's punching, and hopefully eventually she'll get annoyed enough that she'll turn and say, what are you doing? And that's going to be
Cool.
my opening conversation. And then, I mean, that's why I do want to know what she's doing here. I mean, is she linked to Hajir in any way?
You've seen her there most every time that you go. She's usually there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to try and sort of, Irani. What brings you to Hotel Artemis? Not the kind of place I'd expect to see you in.
And she's got a little cigar on a extended stick type thing. There's a little trail of smoke that comes up, and she looks up at you like she doesn't make you wait for long. She looks up and meets you, and she seems to recognize you. If you get the feeling maybe she doesn't know your name, but like she knows your association. So she says, sorry, I don't recall exchanging names. What should I call you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm not going to give him my swoop bike name. So yeah, I will I'll say I'm Ruh, but I will say, yeah, I'm Ruh of the Zid Hounds. You may have heard of us.
Yes, I've heard of the Zidhounds. Who hasn't? Not a fool. I know that you own most of the Undercity. I'm here because of
Seems an odd place to see you.
I'm here because a close friend of mine has gotten herself into a bit of trouble, and we're taking care of it.
Oh, any trouble that you need some external assistance with?
I don't think the external assistance would help her to make better life choices, so I'm afraid not.
True, but if she's got involved with somebody, maybe the Zid Hounds are the people that can do you a favor, and then you could owe us a favor.
Oh, that sounds like a role. I think you're being cool, and it sounds like you're hitting her up to either give you more information or potentially hire you for a job. So you tell me what thing are you bringing into play here?
I think I'm trying to bring into a play that, clearly a friend has made some bad life choices, and, yeah, I'm sort of going to try and pull at her heartstrings, really.
Nice.
That
so it's less of a, hey, you want to pay us creds, we'll help you. It's more like, hey, we'll help you. I like that. I like that a lot. That's cool.
Yeah. I don't have any expertise in this kind of thing, though.
Yeah, I think this is hard, right? Like, she didn't know your name before a few moments ago. She just knew of you, and now she's about to roll on her friend who she's sitting here waiting on. So yeah, I think it's hard.
So we've got cool of 3 and we've got a heart of 2. So I'm to 5 dice. I'm willing to throw in a kark. So I'm on 6 dice.
Luckily, there's no tension involved in the roll, so this will not take you out.
66. Let's. What's the difficulty?
Hard. Need 3 successes.
Ah, okay. Here we go. 50-50. Oh yeah, get in there. That's what we want. A 5, a 4, and a 4.
There you go.
Yeah.
She says, there's a moment like she considers it. You pulled on her heartstrings, offering her friends some kind of out, and she says, Yes, well, Raw, my friend, she's seeking a way out of her current employment. She'd be rather cross with me if I divulged who she is, but if you wait around here, I'm sure that once she's released, you'll see who it is. She's been trying to motivate a lover to help her out of her predicament, and it did not go quite the way she'd anticipated, if you understand.
Totally, totally. And I think we're the people that can help.
This lover of hers has become a bit possessive, and I think she's bitten off more than she can chew.
Yeah, I can understand why she needs a way out. In fact, we helped somebody earlier today in a similar predicament. So, definitely we can assist. What's your idea? What would you like us to do?
Have you heard of the Black Volkers? They're a swoop gang.
Yeah, we definitely know them.
I was a member of the group who convinced my friend that they would help her get out of her predicament. And I think convincing this individual to back off of her would be a preferable arrangement. My friend is not going to get what she seeks from this ruffian, if you understand, Raw.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, he needs to know his place. Or she needs to know her place. Which member of the Black Volkers was it?
It's a reptilian individual by the name of Heratid.
Heratid. I know Heratid well. Clearly, he needs to know his social place. It seems he's bitten off more than he can chew. So, leave that with us. And, don't worry, we'll do you a favor.
Oh, keep that in mind. Raw, I appreciate your offer. And if you could, let's not mention my friend. I don't want to put her into any further embarrassment.
Of course. Yeah. This will just be a biker gang against biker gang. Haror won't even know it's really got anything to do with her. We'll just edge him out of the situation. If you know what I mean.
I do. Now, what would you like in exchange, Raw?
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm sure in the future, if I need something, or if the Zid Hounds need anything, we'll pay you a visit.
Her comm unit chimes, and she checks it and says, "Thank you, Raw. If you would excuse me," she'll stand up and she starts to walk, and there's a door that opens up, and behind the door, like, you can see that it's a very clinically clean hallway. Evidently, this might be an entranceway into the hospital portion of the hotel. And you see coming out, you've never seen so many clothes on her. But you see wheeled out in a little like hover chair, and she stands up, is Oleander, the slave and dancer for Hajur. Do you try to avoid her gaze, or?
Yeah, I think I do. I don't really want her to know really if I've got any involvement here.
Mhm.
So I'd prefer, and I probably don't want anything really getting back to Hajur, that we are here. So yeah, I'll sort of lower my hat, keep my eyes down on the ground.
Now, Crusher, did you did you come in on this? Like you said, you wanted to clean off a little bit. You could be in this lounge area if you wanted.
Yeah, sure. I could be there.
Cool. Yeah. So you see Oleander evidently was here at Hotel Artemis, and she gets out from the little hover chair. She and Arani chat for a little bit, and like Clutch, Crusher, but you're both, playing it cool, but you notice like there's some gentleness, some compassion coming from Arani. Like they seem friendly, not intimate, but sisterly in a way. And Oleander she looks a bit wan, a little tired, and she heads off with Arani, and the two of them will make their way to the lift and leave Hotel Artemis. So we cut to Dwang, and you see that they're getting to work on your boss. Murgo is in rough shape. It's the kind of thing where you see the display of the skeleton, like the Deveronian skeleton. You can see there are all these little call outs for the different broken bones and the metatarsals on his hands. And the doctor, who is, let's say that your doctor is a Chiss, like a very blue-skinned, red-eyed, whip-thin, sharp as a knife doctor, and he actually like hits the little speaker bar to speak to you as you're watching what's going on. He says, it would be easier and quicker to recovery if we replaced the patient's hands with cybernetics.
That's your diagnosis?
Yes, my recommendation is full replacement of both hands.
It's up to you, Doc. That sounds great.
Very well. He goes back, and yeah, he's going to remove at the wrist both of Murgo Dindo's hands and replace them with cybernetics that are made to look like the same color as Murgo's skin, but if you look close, you can tell. Like the nails are too perfect. The hands will be fake to anyone who looks too closely. But you put on some gloves and no one will know. Anything you want to do as Dwang is watching?
So I think Dwang is, watching intently because that's kind of his job here. And then I think he gets a little bit, distracted and bored. He's not, not real good at that. So the doctor kind of snapped him back into place, and then he kind of goes back. And I think he's going to keep in touch with Clutch and with Crusher and say, okay, tell them the doc said that the hands have to be replaced with, droid hands. I think that's probably good because, fingerprints and, ID and all that kind of stuff. And, long term, I'm not sure he's going to be able. He's got so much heat on him from the Imperials. They really did a number on him. I'm not sure he's going to be able to be the president much longer. I mean, we might be with name Cap. Might be with Cap for a while now. I mean,
Okay, good job, Dwang.
I'm glad we got him when we did, because otherwise he'd be dead.
Yeah, that was a damn good call, moving quickly. Yeah, like it. As you say, yeah, let's just get him back on the road to recovery. We need to sit down, with all the other members of the MC and, talk about this, see it out.
Cool. So we'll kind of bring you guys at some point. We'll leave Hotel Artemis. I'm just going to stick in this little tag scene here where, yeah, you had a thing?
It's now a good time to check in with was it J-Lo? Velo.
Yeah, That's exactly what I was setting up.
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Okay, thank you.
No, it's perfect. We're on the same page. I love it. So Clutch, you're watching the feed. Just for dramatic purposes, maybe Crusher and Dwang are looking over your shoulders. You guys are kind of fast forwarding through the feed because it's like a whole day's worth of information. It's late at night. The next day, the crew, you've called a meeting, right? As the road captain, you got the rights to do that. Work through your sergeant at arms, and they'll schedule a secretary, and they'll schedule a meeting. So everybody's gathering in the morning for a meeting with the Zig gangs. So you're just checking over the velo stuff. When you reach a part of the feed where Velo, and of course it's all first person, but you see that Velo has entered an area that you know is Black Vulcar territory. And zip it back for a little bit, and you see that Bully is with Velo, and Kiana is with Velo, but nobody else from the gang is. And Kiana just peels off, and it's like she's standing outside keeping guard. The two of them, Bully and Velo, head into the Black Vulcars' place of business. Now, the Black Vulcars, they don't have a bar. They literally have a laundromat. You go into the laundromat, and then there's an office and kind of a meeting room back behind that. And Bully heads in with Velo behind her. And there are members of the Black Vulcars you recognize. There's Heral. There's Zaroon, the Nosorian that you guys messed with. And they see Bully, but she just heads right past them. And then the door is open that didn't look like a door. And she steps in, and a few moments later, she's sitting in that office with Kavin. Kavin Brejic is the leader of the Black Vulcars. This is niece and uncle. So she sits down. She says, Unc, someone's trying to mess with our people. Ellen says, so you don't trust it? Bully says, I don't believe it. Ellen says, good. Good, I figured you were coming in here looking to cause some trouble. Bully says, no, but word is on the street. What are we going to do? Kevin says, I'm still working on it. We've got to find some way to make peace. Bully says, okay. Okay, Unc. My trust is wearing thin. You need to fix this. Kevin says, I've got you. Okay, Bully? We've got this under control. He says, all right. But if I have to, Zaroon and Chanhun will die. You understand that, right? The hidden Becks are the swooping that people care about. Black Vulcars, people don't care about you. You have a different purpose. Kevin says, I know that. We've worked this out. You don't have to remind me. Is there anything else, Bully? She says, not yet. Gets up, strolls out. Velo follows. And with that, we'll bring the session to a close. So we've got some questions to answer. Let's jump to that. So we'll start from the middle, because Clutch, you hardly ever get to go first. Clutch, did you clash with someone who threatened your people, your club, and the locals who mattered to you?
You can't, mess with our people. They mess with the Prez, and we clashed with the Imperials. So yeah, I definitely
and
think
Trinic too. We now know you care about this little Duros, and you've got some Duro Superales notions going on for sure. Definitely take an XP for that. Did you add to the legend of your gang?
Breaking somebody out of an Imperial facility, I definitely think that's going to move the Zid Hounds up the legend track a little bit.
Yep. And then did you guys have a conflict with your rivals or the law? Yeah, he broke
The
my
law,
too.
yeah.
So base 3 XP for everybody. Now I just asked specifically, Clutch, did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role in the group in this ride?
Yeah. I fulfilled my role, road captain. We went on a trip, and we successfully this time achieved something. So yeah, I think I did.
Good. Did you support another member of the gang when they needed you?
I don't think I threw any karks, but I definitely say sealing that blast door definitely,
For sure.
Contributed there.
Absolutely. That 100% say their can. So that's 5 XP for you. Let's jump over to Crusher. Did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role in the gang?
Not so much my role, but I think I lived up to my rep. I mean, I got the information from the Imperial. I got what we needed from the snitch.
For sure. Yeah, I completely agree. And then did you support another member of the gang when they needed you?
I mean, if the press counts, then yes, definitely. I don't know if any of the other player characters. I mean, I kind of backed up Dwang when we were in the detention center, but he was never in any real danger there. So
maybe, but I think Clutch asked you to kind of lead into this sleazy weak way, and you did it.
Yeah, that's true.
That to me earns you an XP.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And last but not least, Dwang, did you live up to your rep or fulfill your role in the gang?
I think so. I think being kind of the muscle getting in and out of the detention center is good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It also, I think, just at Sergeant at Arms, like some of the things you did about calling out the Wookiee and about Trinick, like not letting the vice president slide on something. Yeah, for sure. Did you support another member of the gang when they needed you? I know you at least kicked in a kark at least a couple times.
Yeah, and I think that, we tried to make sure that we got in and out, and we also, threatened the snitch whenever we got out, just trying to make sure we kind of rolled with it a little bit. So yeah.
Cool. 5 XP for you as well. So you guys all earned 5 XP each. And that is awesome. So let's move to stars and wishes. We start with wishes so that we can end with stars. I've got to move to another. I took a lot of notes in this session. I've got to move to another page. Who would like to go first with wishes?
Yeah, I mean, I'd really like to pursue the storyline of this helping another person. So yeah, I'd really like to pursue the storyline of helping out Olinda. See what we can do for her. Yeah, just a little bit of time in that direction. I'd really like that.
For sure. Yeah, I've got my plate spinning now. That's one of the plus I'm also interested in. So good. Thank you, Paul. So Undershore, Steve.
I like to see a real throwdown with one of the other gangs. Just to see how things go. What happens?
Yeah. I think that is coming. Hopefully the Velo stuff feels like it realistically set up some potential fallout there. Good. Steven, what about you? Any wishes?
So the session was really good. I can't really think of any wishes that haven't already been mentioned. I'll be excited to have Wild Thing and Twang back. I think that'll be good. Yeah.
Yep, I'll be excited to have them back too. In fact, interestingly enough, we're reaching a point where let's see, sessions 4 and 5, because I was looking at the roster. In 5, I think that's the one, Stephen, where for some reason you're on the wait list. You're still in, right? Mm-hmm. So you can play. So we may be swelling to one more member for the last 2 sessions. So I may, because like you and another person kind of swap out, you're both at the tail end, one on a wait list, one not. I may just bring that player in next session's kind of my plan, so that they get 2 full sessions and we don't have to boot Steven for the ending is what I think is going to go for that. So cool. More players. Sweet. Steven, you went last with which you get to go first with stars. How many stars to hand out?
Yeah, so this session went really well, I thought. I really liked the plan of going in to the detention center. I think that Clutch did a really good job of kind of solidifying and getting us all on the same page. I really like that. I like that we got some what's the right word? Bribery or blackmail kind of stuff going in. More talky stuff than just fighty kind of stuff. And the stuff at the very beginning with the let's see what you do outside of the gangs area in the community. I really like that too.
Good. I'm glad. I really enjoyed it. The answers were superb. Thanks, Steven. Undish.
Yeah, much the same. I really liked having the map, which is weird, but you know, it makes things more concrete, and you get some ideas. Oh, there's a storage room and that sort of thing. You can it sparks the imagination for this sort of thing. I'm a fan of maps generally, but I think this was really good. I also very much enjoyed the bit at the start where we did some world building and character building, I guess. That was things I hadn't thought of that much before, and it feels good to have more grounding for the character. It makes it more interesting to play forward into the more actiony bits. I think I'm both Paul and Steven really played into their characters. It was very enjoyable to see the interactions and seeing how you both build up your characters from. I mean, this always happens around like 3, 4, 5 sessions in. You start to get a bit more 3-dimensional characters, I guess, and that I always enjoy seeing that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Glad.
Yep.
I feel. Yeah, I'm really happy with that as well. So I'm glad that it worked for you guys. And then Paul, did you have any stars?
Yeah, to Stephen, really leaned into his character, assisted loads, and some awesome dice rolling on the karks there, really, Stephen. And Undish, playing your character really nice and tight there. There was some. I think everybody really gelled really well. There was some good planning, but we didn't spend 2 hours talking about some fictitious plan. And I think something that Undish said, the map actually, it tells you things you can and you can't do visually. Yep. So we're not just hypothetically saying there might be a storage room. We know there's a storage room.
Yep.
You told us as a GM, and I think Undish pointed that out really well. It actually helps focus. So rather than spending 2 hours talking about a nonsense plan based on we think, it really narrowed it down. And everybody played really tightly. With only 3 people, we got to look around the group at see who's good at what. Because there's not a lot of karks going free. We can't throw in too many. So yeah, people played really well to their strengths and assisted when somebody didn't have a strength. So yeah, really good and great GM and Rich. Good sound effects. That always helps. But there was options, but it was nice and tight. Like it.
Good. I'm really happy with this session too. I'm happy that you guys like the map. I love maps. It's weird in indie space. You're like, oh, theater of the mind. But I'm like, yeah, but you can be a theater of the mind with something concrete that we all agree on. I love drawing things if you don't have it automatically. But knowing that I had that map, I was like, yep, just going to throw it right there. It's going to put all the words on it. So I'm glad that worked out. Really fun. Two thoughts. So the first thought is, it's interesting after having run Swoop Gang with like you have a starting kark and it's always like up and down, versus now we start with like a random amount, but it's at least going to be 4. So you never start like a session at the bottom. It seems to be changing the shape of play, which is interesting. I haven't decided yet. Is it better or worse or just different? But I'm definitely noticing there's less of a desperation for, oh my God, that was a big fight, now I have to do this. Like you guys have a little bit more breathing room to do a couple hard actions back to back, which is interesting. And then the other thing is, I'm just kind of saying this out loud to check myself. I had a couple of different plots of like women under threat, and I'm just checking myself. I don't want that to become a trope. I tried to flavor them differently, like kid worried about mother, and then woman who's trying to use somebody for a desperate situation and it didn't go the way she planned. But I still feel they're both coming from a place that I want to not, like, I want other things to be in danger for a while. I don't want that to be the bar that I'm hitting all the time. So I'm mostly just calling myself out for that, so that that we're all mindful of it, and you guys can check me if I start to go down that road again. So I think it's important, especially since we have a line on some things, and yet again I'm dancing near that line. So I got to be careful and make sure I'm doing right by our agreement to each other.
As far as the karks go, I like this update. I know that I rolled low the first couple of sessions, so I didn't have very many karks to give. And then this session, I rolled low, but I also was able to get some through charity work, and that got me up there, so I could help out the team more by giving a kark and all that. So that was really nice. I liked whenever you're low on karks, it's really tense. Like it's what I don't have a whole lot to give, and this could really take me out if I don't roll well and threats involved. But on the other hand, whenever you have lots of karks, it solidifies the teamwork. So it's kind of nice.
Cool. All right. Well, we're at time. 5 minutes over. Sorry about that. I'll stop the recording here. Thank you all so much. Can't wait to see you next week.